All right, guys, here we are back in New Jersey Motorsport Park for Global Time Attack Pro Round 2. Before we get to the on-track experience, we have Marcos Malonis out there ready to interview one of our talent. I'm giving you Marcos with Mr. Time Attack. Anyone that's been following this sport knows by now who I'm talking about, so give us a few minutes. 2, 1, Marcos Malonis.
Good morning, everybody. I am not Cuban Rodriguez. He was correct, though. It is Marcos Milonas from Snail Performance and IAG Performance. We're out here at Global Time Attack Round 2 of the Pro Series at New Jersey Motorsport Park, and I'm here with Mr. Nick Steniford with his S2000. Nick, how's it going this weekend?
Pretty good, man. Having a solid weekend.
So, first off, the drive here was pretty long. How did that go?
Long, boring, and hot. Just how I'd like a drive for that to be. No big surprises, but I made it here.
That's good. That's good to hear. So, any goals for this weekend? Did you have a personal best you're trying to achieve? Hang on, we'll let Phil roll by here real quick. And them Subarus are loud. But so, did you have any goals you were trying to achieve this weekend? Anything in particular, a personal best you were shooting for?
The only goal I really have is to have a good time, honestly. I obviously want to better my time every time I come out. I did that second lap of the very first practice session. Went a second and a half quicker, so I was cool with that. Continuously cutting down some time throughout the weekend and see where I end up.
Sweet. That sounds pretty solid. Any new changes to the car for this event?
Actually, I got a couple good changes. I got a set of R1 Concepts, big brake kit front and rear. Aside from that, it's still the same normal car, daily driven street tire race car, I guess.
That's pretty solid. So, plans for the rest of the season? Do you have anything big coming up? Are there any events you're trying to hit, or just trying to finish the year out strong?
Well, I mean, the goal is to race every weekend. I'll be skipping next weekend, go back home, work, gather up some money. I got Grid Life at Road Atlanta South in 2 weeks. After that, I know we have SCCA Nationals coming up and NASA events back home. Super Lap Battle in California. Anything. If it's coming up and I can almost afford it, I'll make it there.
Nice. So you're in the dealership world as well, like myself. So I know that schedule is pretty tough, but for you to be trying to hit all these events, that's really cool. It takes some dedication. Obviously, it takes a little bit of money too, but that's why we work. So that's pretty sweet. Other than that, anything anybody want to say thanks to?
Obviously, shout out to all my sponsors, friends, family, supporters, just random dudes on Instagram that are just shoot me a message like, "Hey, good luck." Like, it means a lot. Support means a lot to all these drivers out here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, guys, that was Marcos with Mr. Nick Steniford. We like to call him Mr. Time Attack. There's not an event he misses. We're going to be going hot here with Group 1, Session 1 in about 5 minutes. Group 1, Session 1 in about 5 minutes. So we're going to give you a beautiful view of our pits. You'll see you guys starting to line up, and as soon as we go hot on track, we'll get it out to you.
can, because this cord is kind of like really tight up here. I don't think I can go. I have to go all the way around. Jeff, I heard you, but I can't do that. The cord is too tight up here, the SDI, so I can't. I have to go the other direction. Yes, I copy.
All right, guys, here we have it, our Group 1, Session 1 drivers lined up. That's Group 1, Session 1. You are going to notice really quickly that we're missing one of our lead competitors, Mr. James Houghton, after running an incredible lap time yesterday. Seems to have a small drivetrain issue. So hopefully you can get it back together. Not sure yet, but we're hoping to see that. Just so you guys know, we have Mr. Phil Grabo in an Element Tuning Subaru as our in-car. Phil sends it. He's known for sending it. If you didn't know Phil and you were at Road Atlanta, Phil was driving that monster FRS 1,000 horsepower twin turbo. So this is his other car. We're getting the rest of these cars out on track. We see Phil warming up. Phil was gridded second or third, so he's definitely at the front of the line of speed index here. Our camera is holding firm. This car vibrates, shakes like crazy, so if our camera can hold in this car, it can hold in any car. It's going to be car 71 Element Tuning, Phil Grablow. Hey guys, so we are having a small technical difficulty with our GoPro. The audio is not working, which is probably better for tuners because Phil has a filthy mouth. So, I mean, if something goes wrong, you know, the FCC is going to shut us down. This is Phil going through the bowl, though, getting ready to start a hot lap. I won't be able to give you the earth, wind, and fire that this car creates, but we will be able to watch the lap. So there he went through the bowl, last turn 10, trying to set up, go down the front straight. Man, I'm sorry you guys couldn't hear it because I heard it coming across the tower. It's an amazing sounding car. Phil has been known to be one of the most aggressive drivers we have in our series. Phil's been around for a long time. He even remembers the old Super Street days of the original Super Lap battle at Buttonwillow. Lucky for us, this Group 1 Session 1 is live, guys. We have a full field out there. This is the best part about the morning sessions. Everyone wants to go out and run it. While Phil's setting his lap, I do see even Chris Boersma has all his troubles figured out, so we're not going to be running into any issues here. Phil going through turn 7 as we speak. This is going to be the higher speed part of the track. He carried as much speed as he could through 7 to go to 8 to enter the bowl. If he can get a good exit out of the bowl itself, he can carry speeds upwards of 170 miles an hour down the front straight. All right, guys, Phil's time. He did a 1:08.304. He's flying. So far, Eric Magnuson led him out with a 1:09, 1:08. We're going to have Mr. Joel Morrison in the 9 Lives Racing at a 1:14. AJ Hartman at a 1:10, and Tyler Papas, who we'll try to get an interview with later, who ran Pikes Peak Hill Climb a few weeks ago with a 1:09. Steve Green at a 1:11, running a little slower than yesterday. I know he's trying to find the balance of that car. Dan Kroll in the IG Performance Subaru, a 1:12, followed by Sally at a 1:11.7. Sally's chasing down the record of a 1:08 in her class. Chris Boersma, 108.7. He thinks the car has 106s in it. They got all the problems squared away yesterday. We have Shailin Wu with a 111, followed by Jim Chen in a 110 in his C7 Z06. That's Tyler Papas in the CSF Radiator C-Speed car, BMW M2. We hope to talk to him about not only himself, but that car. We're proud they brought that out for us. Phil dropping time, 107. Phil's really got that car squared away right now. Phil is fastest on track right now, guys. Phil is fastest on track with a 107. You're on board with our fastest car. That's pretty much an honor to give you. You never know who's going to be fastest out there, but my camera guy really got lucky, chose a good one. All right, let's see. Phil, he's doing 3 hall laps in a row. He's one of the few people that has no problem going lap after lap. He builds them to abuse them, guys. The Monster FRS, I think, ran every session at Road Atlanta. I'm sure this car is going to run every lap. This car was also meant to run at Road Atlanta, but someone else was manning the pilot there, and I think they had some kind of electrical issues. So Phil brought it out this time to show what it could do. Phil with a 107, 172. He just dropped another 6/10 off that lap. That C7 right there, that C7 Z06 right there, he's running, I believe, a 110 in that car, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll pull that back up. Steve Green with a 110.9. He's getting very close to yesterday's times. He had run his car with no splitter yesterday, trying to find a change of balance. He pulled a little bit of wing out of it, ran no splitter, and when we had him in the in-car, he was running his fastest laps of the day. He's hoping to get the car's balance set properly today and run a little bit better times. That right there was Jim Chen in a 110.495. It's nice when you see a track car that's not only purpose-built but looks good. That CSF Radiator BMW M2 is gorgeous. That's our boy Phil right there coming into the pits. Looks like we got Phil going back to his cold pits. He did run 4 consistent laps. I mean, he did a 108, a high 108, a low 108, a high 107, and then a low 107.1. So he definitely is having no problem pushing it out there. He is an unlimited class, and as most of you know, the unlimited overall record plus the track record was broken here last year at a 59.8 by William L. Young in his Vibrant Performance PZ Tuning Honda Civic. All these guys are trying to chase it down. Mr. James Houghton with the best chance for sure. It is 1-0. He did a low 102 yesterday. So if he can't get back out, we are sad to see it, but we're glad he came out on his birthday and laid down a flyer. His teammate over there, Chris Boersma, is definitely laying it down. He's hoping to hit a 106 this weekend, just take the record. What we have right now setting up in the bowl, I see 2 cars. I see Mr. Dan Kroll, and then followed by Mr. Steve Green in the C7 Z06. That's a beautiful E36 M3 right there. All right, guys. So this is Group 1, Session 1 at Global Time Attack, Day 2, New Jersey Motorsport Park Pro Round 2. These are the times for our session, guys. Group 1, Session 1. Fastest on track is Mr. Phil Grabo, 107, followed by Eric Magnuson. Multiple 108s in this session, guys. We have Eric Magnuson, 108.1, Chris Borsma, 108.7, Dan Kroll, 108.9, and his first lap was like a 114, so Dan's really laying it down. Then we have Tyler Papas, also Jim Chen and Brian Tyson in the 109s. Steve Green at a 110.6. Two 111s with Sally and Shai Lynn, and then Joel Morgan at a 114. At 9 Lives Racing, Honda S2000, they definitely know how to fly in that car. They were pushing it hard at Road Atlanta, made it on the podium. I expect nothing less from them. Here we have it, guys, the lull in the session. Everyone's run their hot laps. You got to remember, this is Time Attack. It's a time trial style orientation of driving. We're not out there running a hot lap every lap. You will find some cars that can do it, don't get me wrong, but these cars are sole purpose to make one perfect flyer. You run 10 laps and they're consistent, that's great, but if you run 4 terrible laps and then 1 record breaker, well, guess what? That's all that matters. So these guys push not only themselves, but their cars to the limit. You got the cooling, the aerodynamics, the alignment, everything is pushed to the point where maybe you can only run 1 lap, and hopefully that 1 lap is all you need. It's also a team sport, as I'm looking in the paddock over here and I see Nick Steniford's car getting bump started. Thank you guys who bump started Nick. That's Mr. Nishan Patel over there. I see Brian Tyson and that other gentleman, I don't know your name, but I see you working hard. I appreciate you. So right now we have the 9 Lives Racing S2000 finishing up a hot lap. We only have a few minutes left in this session, guys, so hopefully we can see a few more laps out here. For the most part, the last 2 to 3 minutes is usually the lull in the session. Mr. Brian Tyson right there. That's one person that doesn't allow lulls. Brian will run every lap of every session. He has come across the states with us. He reset the street rear-wheel drive record at Road Atlanta. Even though all the classes are together now, there is no more rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive at the podium ceremony, we still hold the class records dear to our hearts. So street rear, street all, street front, they all have separate records, where the only record that matters in the podium is the overall, but he definitely reset the street rear-wheel drive record. For those of you wondering, he just ran a 111. He's running a 109.788 so far in this session, so a little bit off of his time. Hopefully they have the issues figured out from yesterday. We have our times up for this session right now. Phil definitely led this session from beginning to end with his 107.172. No one has really reset a faster time from the last time. We still have 107s, and we got 1 guy in the 7s, 4 in the 8s, 2 in the 9s, 3 in the 9s. Couple 10s, couple 11s. This is what you call a really competitive session. Minus the 107, everyone is within 4 seconds of each other. Yep, looks like Brian might be trying to shake the car out, see if he can feel anything. Mr. Brian Tyson coming in the hot pits right now. He's really been shaking the car left to right, so I'm not sure if he feels something funny or if he's basically just trying to scrub everything off his tires before he comes in. So once again, guys, here are the times from last session. This is GTA Group 1, Session 1 of the day. These are all the live times. You have Mr. Joel Morrison set one more time, 2 seconds off the fastest. But we got Phil in first, followed by Eric Magnuson. Chris Boersma in third, 108.7. AJ Hartman in fourth with a 108.8. Dan Kroll, a 108.9. This is a real good. If this was qualifying for a race, I think this would be the funnest race out there. We have Joel Morrison at a 109.0. Tyler Papas also a 109.0. Jim Chen a 109.5. Brian Tyson a 109.7. Steve Green at a 110.6. Sally McNulty at a 111.1. And Shailin Wu at a 111.9. These are the times for Group 1, Session 1. Soon we'll be going to Group 2, Session 1, guys. Group 2, Session 1s. We got drivers lining up in the coal pits. As soon as this session ends, we'll send them out to the hot pits and get them ready to go out and set some times. Right there, we have Mr. Tyler Papas in the CSF Racing M2. He came in because one of his front splitter supports actually came loose. That car is creating a whole bunch of front downforce. Yesterday, it was one of the center supports. It seems they got that squared away, but this time it's the front left support. He's been pushing the car really hard, and he's been running faster lap times because of it, so you're always going to find the limit and the breaking point on certain parts. Time attack can be a single-person sport or a team sport. A lot of these people compete with each other. The blue JS-tuned Honda Civic Type R you see in the back, that would be Mrs. Corin Tyson. That would be Brian Tyson's wife in the red Camaro. Corin and Brian and Corin. They're Mr. and Mrs. Time Attack over there. It's good to see people come out and compete with their friends. It's even better to see a family come out and compete. Corin's been competing with this car all year. She's always come out and supported Brian, and we knew she drove, but after she got this car, she ran one event and it seems she got the bug. So she's made it all over the States with us. And if I'm not mistaken, she's bringing that car all the way back to California, Buttonwillow Raceway Park. Right there driving by in the black 2.5 RS, that's Raul Mora. He's been pushing it hard all weekend. He had a small meeting with a tire wall yesterday. They had a quick conversation. Raul came out on top because he's back out here competing again, so that's what I appreciate. The other blue Civic Type R you see, that is actually Mr. Jason Owens with a 113, second in street class behind Mrs. Sally McNulty. All right, guys, here we are on the grid with Group 2, Session 2. We're about 5 minutes away from going live. Group 2, Session 2. If you caught us at the very beginning in our interview, we had a quick little talk with Mr. Nick Stennifer. This would be his in-car. We're giving him a second chance on the in-car footage because he kind of ran out of gas yesterday. For those of you that don't know, I like to talk about this kid a little bit too much, but for those of you that don't know, Nick got what was called a Spirit of Time Attack Award last year, and he deserved every single bit of it. He makes it to every event. It doesn't matter if it's Global Time Attack. It doesn't matter if it's Grid Life. It doesn't matter if it's Super Lab Battle in Texas. It doesn't matter if it's Rocky Mountain NASA, for God's sake. I've seen this guy everywhere. And in case you were wondering, we are right next to an airstrip. It's probably one of the coolest things in the world. These little single-seater airplanes, single prop planes flying over us. I'm going to give a free shout-out, too, to the diner over there. Speaking of diners, guys, the concession stand here at the track is open until 3 p.m. in case anyone's hungry. So this is our Group 2, Session 2 lined up to go out. Group 2, Session 2. We should be going hot in about 3 minutes, so stay with us, and we'll get you some on-track footage and some times. Group 2, Session 2 about to go hot, guys. Group 2, Session 2 about to go hot. We got about a minute left, if I'm not mistaken. I'll make that 2, yeah, but a minute and a half left. Here we go, guys. Group 2, Session 2 going hot. Group 2, Session 2 being led out by Jason Owens. being led by Jason Owens, then followed by Sean Mahadeo in his Civic EGSI, then Banish Bolsora, then being followed by Mr. Nick Steniford. I don't know why our in-car camera's fighting us here. We lost our audio once again. Hopefully we can get that figured out between sessions so you guys can also hear it. But we have Nick out there ready to set some quick lap times. This right here is a tower right before turn 7. As I'm sure you've seen by the lap times, this is a very relatively short track, but it's high speed, it's semi-technical, and drivers love it. Most people that come here after the first day say they just had a killer time and they know they've lost a lot of time in the high-speed section. So we're really hoping to see these drivers pick up quite some time on day 2. All right, so Jason Owens, for whatever reason, pulled in. He's yet to actually start a hot lap, and Mr. Sean Mahadeo is starting his first hot lap, followed by Banish Bolsara and Mr. Nick Steniford, John Lewis, and then Steven Mahadeo, I believe the brother of Sean. They both have hatchbacks. Steven drives an EK, Sean drives an EG. We have a driver off at turn 1. Took a little excursion there, but he's back on track safely. Just want to let you guys know what was going on. I know you can see that dust cloud there. Turn 1, when you watch the onboard, pay attention to it. You see how it's rising right there, and it kind of falls off on the outside. Here we have it. So it looks like Banish is also a SCCA or NASA driver. I see TT marks on his car. He's definitely laying down the laps. He's putting a little pressure there on Sean Mahadeo. It's Sean, then it's going to be Banish, then it's going to be Nick Steniford. I believe they run very similar lap times, Sean and Banish. They just find the speed in different places. Banish with a 117, Sean with a 119. Nick behind all of them running the quickest lap at a 116. Sean's brother Steven also at a 119. I feel like it might take Sean some time to get those tires in because Sean led this group out. He's definitely quicker than these guys. Here you have Miss Amy Dilks in her Subaru STI. She is also a club racer. She's out there, for those of you that don't know Amy, she not only races here in clubs, she was actually at Spa running an endurance race. I mean, I think she ran an endurance race at the Nürburgring. She's basically everywhere having a killer time right now, so we'll be a little jealous of her while we're here in the States, but it's good to have her here at our event running her personal Subaru STI. This is Mr. Steniford himself going through the bowl. If you ever wonder what those cones are on the inside of the corners, that's actually a good place. It's to mark the drivers where the apex of the corner is. So if you ever want to see if a driver's hitting his marks, just pay attention how close he is to those cones. But don't take it as a one and only. You know, sometimes you need a late apex corner. Sometimes you actually want to go wide to set up for the next corner. This is all about checkers, not chess. I mean, this is all about chess, not checkers. Here we go, guys. We got a bunch of times here. Looks like Banish Bolsara is leading this group right now with a 114. Got James Mell at a 1:15.2, Marcus Congdon at a 1:15.4, Luis at a 1:15.7. This is another super competitive group. Steven Mahadeo at a 1:15.9. Nick with the 1:16.3. He ran on his second lap. His first lap was also a low 1:16. Raul Mora looks like he's really getting more comfortable. He ran a 1:16.5. Amy at a 1:16.57 as her fastest. Her last lap was 1:16.9. Korn with a 1:16.6 being her fastest lap. John Lewis at a 1:16.7. Scott at a 1:17.0. It literally looks like every single person here is running a super similar lap time. The person you see at the bottom with no lap, Kiwi, that was the person who had a hard off turn 1. Anyone that's in the area, I'd highly recommend trying to make it down here to New Jersey Motorsports Park. We have a full track event, as you can see. We have a full time attack event going on. We have some in-car footage. But we also have a complete car show going on here in the middle that's being set up as we speak. So looks like we're having a good time here in New Jersey. I'd like to see you join us. Yeah, it looks like Amy's coming in. I'm not sure if she came in on her own or if they gave her a quick flag, because right when she entered the bowl and went through the bowl, the whole car just started smoking. Could have just been some overflow oil. I mean, it is an EJ motor. It is a Subaru. They do burn a little bit of oil here and there, so just want to make sure she's good. Looks like Nick is still pushing it, guys. I'm telling you, Nick has no problem going every lap. Yeah, it looks like Amy's crew's checking it out. I just watched her turn the tire, and when she turned it, a little bit of smoke came out from underneath. So they're going to check pressures right now. It's obviously nothing too serious, but the car does have some smoke coming out from underneath that I can see here from the tower. Not sure if you guys are going to be able to see this on camera because it's small plumes, but you can see a little bit right there. Now, it might be brake smoke we see right now, but no, it's far too much coming from underneath the car. I wish I was out there so I could take a quick whiff of it, but we do have one of the workers at New Jersey behind telling her that is a little bit of oil smoke, so I'm sure they're going to bring her in, take a look at what's going on with that. So everyone out there knows this is Group 2, Session 2 of Global Time Attack New Jersey Motorsport Park Round 2. We already finished Group 1, super competitive group. We're really hoping to see some of our big hitter contenders come back out here. I'm not sure if we're going to see the K-Tune Integra. James gave us a hell of a show on his birthday. Thank you, Mr. Houghton, on your birthday, going out and laying down a 102. Sadly, he had a little off in turn 1, and it may have caused a small issue with his car. We're hoping he can get it back together, but if he can't, again, we're super proud to have you out here. You always come out and put on a hell of a show. Last year, another hell of a show was put on. I was blessed enough to be up here in the tower when the sub 1 minute barrier was broken by Mr. William Al Young. I had a NASCAR official in here telling me it's not physically possible for a Honda Civic to go under a minute, and then right after it happened, I had to pick his jaw up off the ground. So I wish y'all could see this in person. Now, watching Nick go through this bowl, it is, you could tell it's a super fun corner. But even watching it from the tower, you could tell how banked the corner is. It dips down and then really helps you hug. So if I'm not mistaken, and I hope you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Will did a 175 down the front straight here. Obviously, looking at this camera, you know the front straight is not long enough to hit 175. But when you add into the equation a high-speed banked corner into the front straight, that's where you know. Now, it's kind of terrifying, to be honest with you, because at those speeds, I'm pretty sure you should be braking before start-finish to get turn 1, but you're not going to hit the brakes before start-finish on a flyer. So when Will broke that record, I remember he went deep into 1. I think he made the corner, but it might have been a small pucker situation. Yeah, Mr. Scott Merker coming in the pits while Nick is still out there flying. Nick, if I'm not mistaken, changed his tires yesterday. I'm sure he needed 3 or 4 sets because he will run every lap of every session and still has to drive it home 1,400 miles. They're still bump starting him every session, so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he told me he's got one of them Duralast Golds, so he's got a free warranty on that starter. He'll get it changed before he drives home. Here we have the times for this session, being led by Banish Bulsara in that C5 Z06, a 1:12.607. Marcus Congdon, followed by Sean Mahadeo. Ooh! As I'm speaking, Sean Mahadeo just eclipsed Marcus Congdon. He's now second in this session. Got a 12, couple 14s. He eclipsed him by 2 tenths. Everyone's jumping right now. Seems on the 4th, 5th lap, everyone seemed to put it together. This is Group 2, Session 1, guys. Group 2, Session 1. So today in the morning sessions, we're giving everybody what looks like 20-minute sessions. We usually run 15s, but we're trying to give them 20 minutes at the beginning sessions here. And we've had nothing but good, clean run groups. No black flags, no one going off, no cars breaking down. It's been good for our drivers. They've had every chance to push the limits. Everyone knows the Japanese rising sun on the hood of that Honda Civic, Mr. Steven Mahadeo. See, this is okay. So now imagine, woo! We got 1970s TV, the stuff your parents didn't want you to watch while it was fuzzy. You'll notice after the front straight, Nick coming in hot to turn 1. Now just imagine being a high horsepower car, finishing your lap and still having to slow down in time to make it to turn 1. This track will really push the limits of your power, your brakes, your aero, your tires, your alignment. It's such a simple track on paper, but to put it all together and to do a fast lap here is short of a miracle. So here we are, guys, at the mid to end points of Group 2, Session 1. Looks like Nick's fastest lap was on his 5th lap. He just finished his 9th, for God's sake. So Nick was at a 1:16, guys. He went, freaking Nick, everywhere he goes. I'm telling you, he's now at a 1:14.892. He's been shaving time off of every session he runs in. Looks like that FRS behind him, though, had a quick excursion on turn 7. All right, boys and girls, Nick. So he's coming around. He's going to finish his 10th lap. The funny part about yesterday, let me tell you about yesterday. He ran out of fuel after profusely saying, my car will run on fumes. Well, clearly you were a little too overambitious with your car there yesterday, Nick. just for you guys, just so you know, we're here at the last 5 minutes of Group 2, Session 1. Group 2, Session 1. We will have a small break before Group 3, Session 1. Usually we would keep the feed live and let you know what's going on around here, but we're probably... No. We're going to cut the feed so we can go ahead and get everything set up at the back. We're going to have a few more interviews today, by the way, guys. We're going to take care of a few things. We have a few more drivers to talk to. We have a small window, but we want to make sure we get you out here in the pit so you can see everything that's going on. Also, in case you haven't heard, we're going to have a conversation with the crew running this car show. It's going to be real touching. It's going to be pretty deep. I want you guys to pay attention and pay close attention to what's going on. The GTA family, we lost a near and dear friend to our hearts, and I will explain more when we get this interview going on, but I just want you guys to know to pay attention and stay in touch with us so you can see and hear everything we have to say about that. Looks like Nick's on his 11th lap. Here's all the times, guys. So, oh, Banish got down to a 112. So it looks like we have Banish leading this entire group, a 112.607. Luis Milan at a 114.26. Sean Mahadeo at a 114.27. And it comes down to the 14.4, 14.7. That's Marcus and James. We got Nick at a 114.8. John Lewis at a 15.4. Craig, I will never be able to pronounce your last name properly, and I apologize about that, at a 115.6. Steven, that'd be Sean's brother, at a 15.8. Raul Mora, 16.1. Corin Tyson, a 16.2. I believe Corin's whole goal this weekend was to break into the 16s. I may be shooting myself in the foot, but I think she did a 17 or an 18 yesterday. So every event Corin's come to, she's had a goal, and I think she has hit the goal every single event. So you need to set your goals a little higher, girl. That's Nick Senefer being followed by Mr. Scott Merker. Actually, that was not Scott Merker. I apologize. All right, guys, you're following on board Nick. It looks like this is going to be the final lap. I see the start-finish throwing a checker right now, so that'll be the end of this session. We'll let them finish these laps right here, and then they'll be coming around. Craig just did a 115.1, about 0.6 off his fastest of a 14.6. Guys, that's going to be the end of this session. Group 2, Session 1. That'll be the first session of Group 2. We're going to leave the times up here for you while they're finishing their run so you can pay attention to what was going on here. We'll be back at 10:45, guys. We'll be back at 10:45. Hopefully we'll have a little different in-car for you. So we'll be back at 10:45. This is the end of Group 2, Session 2. Don't forget, folks, we got live timing and scoring up on racemonitor.com or your Race Monitor app on your cell phone. You can get it for the Apple Store or the Play Store. Racemonitor.com, we have all timing of what's been going on here. Also, as you can see here on feed, this is our cold pits. This is where all our drivers are set up, all the teams are set up. That coned off area in the middle, that's where the car show will be going on. So make sure if you're around or you're here or you're in the area, you come down and you check it out. We're going to have a 30-minute break, guys, a 30-minute break.